Interesting one for you guys today. Here we have recent client Afonso. This guy, great physique, 18 years old, 18 or 19? 18 years old. And we are going to be taking him through a workout. I've had him on a program for a little while. He's been enjoying it, but we're gonna take you guys through his workout, specifically structured for him based on his weak and strong points. And we are starting off with the hamstring curl. He's not used this machine before, so I'm gonna explain to him what we're looking for. All right, so first things first, I find that this is a little bit high. It kind of like puts you in a little bit too much stretch. So what you're looking for is, if you can see the C, you should be good. So you want to try and remember kind of the settings so you're not having to like be different every single time. Have you used a prime machine before?
Yeah, I usually just put it on 4.
Okay, put it on 3. Because what 3 does is that makes it harder when it's more at length, and it lets it drop off as it gets to the bottom. And that's gonna be primarily the better range for you. So it gets a little bit harder to the top, a little bit easier at the bottom. Take it through that. And all we're looking for is taking it to about 1 rep shy of failure for the first set. But get yourself warmed up and we'll be good to go. And back down. Yeah, you don't need to pause super long at the top. So basically get yourself up to the top, slow it down just enough that you're not like bouncing out of it. Pull straight back. Good. Pull, good. We've been working on tempo a lot with him recently because before, he would do super long eccentrics, pause at the bottom, a lot of stuff that we really don't need. So this tempo right here, real solid. Nice. And good, cut it. Possibly 1 rep more than you needed, but pretty close, so not too big of a deal. Because you could tell like it started to get to that point where you couldn't fully get to that bottom position, and we're gonna get another set in here, so we wanna make sure the second set's just as quality. And next we got preacher curls. He's got it harder at the bottom where the biceps have better leverage. A little light for him. He could probably increase the weight. We'll increase the weight for next set. When you have to grind through it like that, the only way you'd be able to get 1 more is if you adjusted your form pretty significantly. Yeah, the biceps, like once they're done, they're done. Okay. All right, so based on a check-in that I was taking a look at from Afonso this morning, we noticed that his left arm seems to be a little bit smaller than his right. Might have to help with this one. Good. 1 more. Still. Good. And done. Now go right immediately into your right. Whenever there's an imbalance, like a significant imbalance, just go 1 right into the other.
And just match it with reps or?
Nope. Take it to the same level of intensity. The imbalances will sort themselves out over time. So I'm not worried about him trying to match reps. Yeah, this weight was a little bit heavy for him. So we'll help him get to around the 4 rep range. And then as long as he can get up to 4, we'll be happy with that set. 1 more, 1 more. Good. Yeah, so that'll be like, I would say go ahead and try and hit that again. Then actually drop it by 5 pounds for the next time. That way you can make sure that you're getting into a quality rep range. Because like if I wasn't here, then you wouldn't have been able to get that 3rd and 4th. All right, so we're setting him up on the incline here. The first time he's used this incline machine, so go ahead and lay back. So what we're looking for, if you notice here, his elbows are very crooked up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this seat down further. Actually, wait, opposite. Increase the seat height, yeah. Because what this will do is this will allow his elbows, bring the hands down a little bit further. This will make his elbows a little bit closer to a 90, make it a little bit more chest oriented. Rather than having his triceps start here and then extend out, we want it to be something where the triceps, or I should say the elbows, are more at this angle and then pushing upwards.
Okay, I understand it now.
And similar to what we talked about when it comes to the hamstrings, don't feel like you have to get like some major pause down here. Slow in and then just push out.
Yeah, I've always like, especially with flies, like you told me, like you don't need to go that slow. Like I'll go and stretch like crazy.
It became a, in a sense, like you know how like it was like really popular to like make fun of people for ego lifting. What happened was then there became a shift the other way where people turned their ego into their technique. So it was like, I go slower than anybody else, I pause longer than anybody else, and all that does is just create additional damage. Let's see how he does. Seeing a little butt lift. Maybe this is a little too heavy for him. Maybe. Not too bad. I like it. We'll see if he stops here. Now he went for another one. I'll take it. Good rep. We're on the lateral raise machine. This is a machine that I've always struggled to connect with, but I know it's a good machine on paper. So if other people like it, I'm never gonna say no to it. What we talked about before we started this set was, he was asking me, when do you consider failure? And I said, as long as you're getting to the range that you were trying to get, then I don't consider that failure. So for here, he tries to get a little bit above 90. And if he can't get to 90 anymore, then I would consider that a failed rep. So he's still getting up to about 90 right now. Let's see if he stops after this, because this is what I would consider to be, let's see. Now he's kind of putting a little shrug into it. Yeah, he went a little far, probably about 1 or 2 reps far. So when you get to a point where you get to here, and then you have to take and actually shrug upwards to get past that point, I'd say that's too much, mostly because of the fact that you have another set. So what you've essentially done at that point is you've said, I don't care that much about what I have to do next. And you're doing it for basically no additional growth. If you only had 1 set to go and you did that and like got it out of the way, I probably wouldn't care too much. But because you have another set to do, that second set, I can already promise you, is gonna be less effective than it would have been. So, yeah. So you're gonna go do that next set, and the amount of reps that you're gonna get on it is gonna be significantly less. It might have only been like 1 or 2 less before. Now you're gonna be finding it hard all the way from like the very start. Slowing down. Yeah, you can see it slowing down, and he should be done. Feels weird, right?
Yeah.
Stopping before you get like, oh, I could do it.
It's like I could do one more.
Yep. But it's no longer going to be your side delts that are really taking the brunt of it. And if they do take anything, it's just going to be additional fatigue for no reason. So when you're trying to figure out seat height for this, what you want to do, you always want the machine to do the work for you. So I'll see people say like, oh, like that you're supposed to pull your arms up high. So what they'll do is they'll like shrug up in order to pull it high. You want the machine to do it for you so that you can just focus exactly. You don't want to have to change anything about it. So if it's not pulling high enough for you, that's a problem with the seat height, not with the way you're performing the motion. So let it do it for you. This guy's got a strong upper back. So because of that, we make this his last exercise in the day. So the way that his split is organized is based off of his, like similar to mine, my weak points come first, and then points where I'm like, I want them to grow, but they're not necessarily strong or weak. They're just like kind of middle ground points for my physique. For his physique, his upper back is very, very solid relative to whatever else we put in the day. The hamstrings, that's his weakest point right now, which makes sense now that we've talked about it, because he told me that he's actually, he's skipped out on hamstrings a lot before. Why is he not using straps? This can't be TNF coaching without straps. Oh, just warming up. All right. So you do have straps. All right. Whew, you almost made me look bad, man.
I can't control the beast inside.
The last set, he was a little bit light. He's increased the weight. Ah, shoot, I should have adjusted his hands first. They're a little narrow, but we can do that for next time. Getting a little bit too much elbow crook in there. Good. Yeah, his upper back is strong. The amount of weight he's moving on this, really solid. And he should be done. Now he's gonna go for another because he's got too much ego in him.
Is that your next one?
Yep. It's all right.
I was trying to read your lips.
Bro, just do your set. All right, so you guys are getting a bit of a treat. You're getting to see, I guess, wait, you're 18, right? Yeah, I was gonna say an underage kid, but I guess not anymore. 18, got quite an impressive physique. So we're gonna run through some poses, work on some stuff. His posing's honestly pretty good already, so it's just gonna be slight refinements. Okay, so one of the main mistakes that people make when they're doing their poses, especially because you can't see it as well when you're not lean, but it becomes very, very obvious when you get lean, is they have a very hard time keeping their quads turned on the entire time. So what happens is when you start your pose, you have them flexed at first, and then as soon as you pull the back and you start doing other stuff with the upper body, this goes loose. So what you gotta make sure is this should be like staying, like, can you flex it right now? Okay, so usually the best way to do it is to give yourself a little bit of a tilt back with the hips, and that makes it much easier to flex these. So like try flexing your quads without doing that, all right? And then just go like this with your hips. And you'll notice that you can automatically engage them better. Yeah, so anytime you have a hamstring pose, what you want is you want there to be no flex, because if you flex it, what happens automatically is when you flex, it comes up. And so it makes it actually look smaller. So similar to the chest is one of those muscles that looks better unflexed. Same thing with the hamstrings. Well, I mean, the chest looks better flexed if you're like front like this, but if you're like coming from the side and you flex your chest, it like kind of bunches up. You don't want that. You want it to stay open, you want it to stay wide, same thing with the hamstrings. All right, now, the one thing that you wanna do is you kinda wanna smash it against the other leg. Yeah, just turn it in a little bit, and that'll give you a bit more width to it. And then what will happen is as your hamstrings develop, they'll get a little bit more round to the back. And what you'll get is that perfect little so like C-Bum, I call it the watermelon. He has a watermelon leg. So like it's perfectly even on both sides. It comes out, it comes in, and it just makes this really, really nice overall symmetrical appearance. Now, for those of you that are wondering, when Alfonso came to me first, I was like, all right, we've gained a little bit more body fat than we need to. So right now we're in a bit of a clean out phase. We're losing a bit of body fat, continuing to build muscle during that phase. And then what we'll do is we'll get him closer to around maintenance calories once he's gotten rid of a little bit of the extra fluff. The thing you want to be careful of, because everybody wants to do this, because it's like, oh, it's a back pose. So they always want to like flex their back. Yeah. So you want to be careful not to flex it too much. You want to let it open out. Yeah. And what's going to happen is, because like when you're not as lean, it looks better when you do that, because then you can see a little bit more detail. But when you're lean, you're going for that width. The detail will be there no matter what. I don't think I saw that in your check-ins. You can throw that into your check-ins if you want.
It's because the back one's small.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Okay. Not so aggressive. Yeah. Good. Yeah, once we get rid of a little bit of this, it'll come together really good. Don't worry, it'll happen. Let these drop down just a little bit. Sometimes people do better with a higher. All right, now bring them up again. Okay. It's this one right here. So this arm opens up well, it shows off the shoulder well. This one is like rotated in, which means that you lose your rear delt and you lose your side delt. So here, it's almost like this, right? So one shoulder's rotated in, the other one's out, gives you a nice appearance. So what you want to do is you want to focus on making sure this one rolls back a little bit.
It is the right one.
Interesting. I think you have more volume in this shoulder than this one. Like, you know how like we're always saying when you want to fix something, you want to start with the weak one and get to that one. So what I want you to remember is this rear delt isn't as strong as this rear delt. So whenever you decide to do a unilateral movement for your rear delt, start with this arm, go to this one. Yeah.
I just assumed.
It's actually noticeable when you do that pose. Guys, hope you enjoyed it. Alfonso and TNF will catch you in the next one. TNF out.